Hi, Monongahela here, and tonight I want to take a look at some audio that I received a few days ago from a fella, David W. David was camping in southern Indiana on October 22nd, and at about 4:50 in the morning, David woke up to hear these vocals in the distance. He made 6 audio clips of those vocals over the course of about a half hour and forwarded those to me and asked for my opinion on them. So I wanted to go through these and share some thoughts. You'll notice they all sound fairly similar. They begin with this broadband shriek that narrows down into a tight little kind of a howl ending. So there's some interesting features to point out about these vocals. They all basically have the same structure. It's the same vocal being repeated time and again. But what you'll notice here is the vocal begins with this broadband onset that's resonating in a wide range of frequencies from about 800 hertz up to about 1300 hertz. This creates kind of a roaring or a shriek effect. But at the end of each vocal, you'll notice that it narrows down into this tight little narrow band vocalization. This is a good example of it right here. So very tight right there at the end. Those vocalizations also show a broad band onset to the vocal that quickly tightens up into a narrow focused howl that extends to the end of the vocalization. So we've seen this particular vocal before. Now in these clips, there are a few additional features beyond the vocal that I'd like to point out. Let's just loop this little section right here. You see this little dark spot? That represents a vocal of some type or a sound of some type. Let's loop it. When we loop on sections of the audio like that, it helps us focus the ear on what we're hearing there. It's a little too faint to really tell what it is, but it's noticeable that it's in there. Maybe it's a response to this much louder initial vocal. Here's some more right here. Let's listen to this. This is louder. Okay. Now, where I could have dismissed this as possibly a dog bark or something in the distance, this is a lot harder to dismiss as a dog. This sounds actually much more similar to a whoop vocalization. Or actually a pair of whoops. Now, I would point out that David tells me he did have his dog with him in camp that night. It was sleeping with him in the tent, and that the campsite next to him also had a dog. I've noticed there are some high-pitched whines in this part of the recording, and it could be that one of the dogs is responding or whining in response to these vocals. Okay, and we seem to hear that after many of these vocalizations. Later in the recording, there are a couple more things to take a look at here. Okay, there. That sounded interesting. Right there, that could be a vocal. But more than that, right about here, this is very hard to see, but you notice this little piece of darker gray area. That's audio energy. And if we focus in on it, it sounds like it has a woody resonance to it. This could be a wood knock. So That's one of the signals I like to see. We have a wood knock in association with possible whoops and a vocalization that we've seen in other recordings that have been more strongly correlated to possible Sasquatch vocals. In addition to that wood knock, I notice over here in this vocalization, see if you can pick up the second vocalizer in here. Okay, what I'm hearing here is at the onset of this vocal, there's actually one voice in the background farther away, and then almost immediately after that farther voice starts, a nearer voice, a louder voice, right, begins to vocalize right here at this point in the recording. See if you can detect the difference. Okay, so that tells us we've got two vocalizers out there. And if you have trouble hearing it there, you should be able to hear it in this clip much more easily. Okay, the softer one is in the distance, and then it gets stepped on by the closer one. All right. Now, beyond just the fact that there seems to be two of these vocalizers, we seem to have another wood knock right about here. Let's loop that. In the post-analysis, I like the fact that we have a vocal type that we've seen in other recordings that are stronger and better correlated to possible Sasquatch activity. Specifically in this case, it's the broadband to narrow band vocal and the transition in there. We also seem to have something that could be close to a whoop. It sounds closer to a whoop-like vocalization than it does to a dog bark, if anything. We see multiple vocalizers out here, with the first fainter vocalizer being stepped on by the closer, louder vocalizer, and then finally seeing these indications of integrated wood knocks. So 4 very interesting features in here that push me to believe that this could very well be a pair of Sasquatch moving past the area where David was camped that morning. So Dave, I hope that helps answer your question, and if you enjoy these kind of video breakdowns, click the like button and leave a comment for me in the comments below, and I'll try to do more of these in the future.